In this video, I'm going to explain how to play the game What's That Blob and Different Eyes. So to begin with, I'm going to explain the activity What's That Blob. This is a two-part game and this is the first section. For this game, what you're going to do is divide the players into groups of 4 or 5. Each player is then going to need a piece of modeling clay that they can form shapes with. And as a teacher, you're going to give each student a post-it note or a piece of paper with any simple noun written on it. For example, a flower or a chair or a cricket bat or a ball. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep it hidden and have the students in groups of 4 to 5 sit in a circle. Then what you're going to do is with their little slip of paper that should each be a different object. They're going to read that, have their modeling clay, and then the teacher is then going to set a 3-minute timer. In those 3 minutes, all of the students are then going to use their clay to try and create whatever is written on their paper. So in those 3 minutes, let's say I try to make, okay, hopefully they're better than I am, but a sort of cricket bat. Okay. So I can try and shape it into something longer and then have a flat top. And then once the time is up, then all the students must stop trying to create their object. And once that happens, all the students are then going to take turns to try and guess what the other person created. So let's say we're sitting in a circle. Remember, don't let anybody else see your paper. I am going to try and guess what the person to my left created. I'm allowed to ask 3 questions about what they created. If I manage to guess what they created, then I am able to get 5 points, and the person who sculpted it gets 6 points. If nobody guesses it, then nobody gets any points. The end of the lesson, whoever has the most number of points wins. So, depending on maybe how well they are doing, you're able to limit what kind of questions they ask. So it could be, what purpose is your object for? I could say, for playing cricket. Then this could be one of the questions that somebody could ask. Or if you wanted it to be a little bit more difficult, then you could say that you're only allowed to ask yes or no questions. This is how you play What's That Blob? The second activity for this game is called Different Eyes. Now, what you're going to begin with doing is lead the students through a sort of story. What you're going to begin with is asking them to close their eyes, and then you're going to lead them on a story where they first imagine a house, imagine the outside of the house, maybe what the back side of the house looks like, what's around the house. Then go to the door. What does the door look like? Once you open up the door, what is it that you see? Look up, look down, look left, look right. Then after that, you need to walk into the house and you find a secret room. What does that secret room look like? So you're basically telling a narrative of the students walking through the house and getting them to imagine what this house really looks like. Once you've led them through that activity, what you're going to do is have them all grab a piece of paper, draw a plus sign, and then ask them to, in the first quadrant, draw the outside of the house. In the second quadrant, draw the inside of the house. In the third quadrant, draw what the secret room looks like, then leave this one blank. Once they are done drawing, perhaps after 5 minutes, you're going to have them all pass the piece of paper to the person to their left. Once they do that, when you receive somebody else's paper, in that final quadrant, you're going to write down a couple questions about that house. Could be anything that you want to know. Could be about the look of it, or really just any questions that you have. Once you've written down the questions, the papers will then go back to the original owners, the people who drew it, and then they're going to look at the questions, and the teacher again will then carry the activity by asking, can you answer the questions? Did you find it surprising? the kind of questions that you were being asked, different things like this to try and figure out, answers to it, and this is how the activity goes. Thank you.